Hey everyone, Combo here, back with another Empires and Puzzles video, and today we are going to go over the May 2025 balance update, details, and release notes. Lots of families gut updates, but mostly newer ones. Real quick before we get started, if you do enjoy this video or find it helpful, hit that like button, make sure you subscribe to my channel, and turn that notification bell on so you can be alerted of when I drop new content. So this update has not gone live at the time that I'm recording this video. It's supposed to go live at around 8 a.m. Eastern Time, which is noontime GMT. So it should go live today at some point, which is Thursday, May 15th. The first family that is getting a buff is the Astral Dwarves. So these buffs that the Astral Dwarves are getting are mostly just specifics to their specials. First, Megwin's boosted HP regen is going to go from 600 to 800, and the damage reduction increase for all allies from minus 30% decrease to minus 40% decrease. Ixen is getting a buff where the direct damage from their special is going to increase from 510% to 530%, and the Wither is going to increase from minus 400 to minus 450. It doesn't specify here, but that's for the attack. She only gets the Wither for enemies for attack. Vard's direct damage is going to increase from 450% to 470%, and the mana generation debuff value is going to increase from minus 30% to minus 35%, so not a huge difference there. Salness is going to get a buff where the direct damage is going to increase from 460% to 500%, and the direct damage to a random enemy is also going to increase from 460 to 500%. So that makes Salness a fast speed attacker with 500% damage to 2, plus the other effects from her, which I think are 50% more damage for one and silence for another or something like that. I don't know. I'm not quite positive on that. I don't have Salness. Next one is going to be Quarry, where the direct damage is going to increase from 435% to 450%. So that covers the Astral Dwarves that got buffs. The Moth family is also getting a buff where the passive skill, the dodge special damage, is going to increase from 10% to 15%. It's going to affect all Moth families, plus the Hero of the Month Ethar, who also has that passive as well. A couple other specific buffs for the special skills for some of the Moths. Pepper Blue's direct damage is going to increase from 400% to 450%. Chunky Roy's direct heal is going to increase from 40% to 45%, and the mana generation buff value is going to increase for 24% to 30%. Mordowitch is going to be able to heal for all allies based on the damage dealt. Was at 30% and now is going to be at 40%, and the damage of the Mega Fiend is also increasing from 250% to 270%. Santa Permentor is going to have the toxin damage increasing over 4 turns from 540 to 612. Santa Permentor is kind of getting the shaft here for the buffs to the Moth family. In my opinion, that's really not a big difference. Grovert's Mega Fiend damage is going to increase from 260% to 275%. So that covers the Moths that got buffs. And then next we've got the Woodland Fawns. Isadore's direct damage is going to increase from 300% to 350%. Gideon's defense buff value is going to increase from plus 50% to plus 60%. Asian has a few buffs here. Direct damage is going to increase from 240% to 270%, and the mana reduction after enhanced defense ailment, which happens when the enhanced defense ailment gets removed or ends or replaced, is going to go from minus 10% to minus 15%, and then all allies mana generation gain increasing after 2 turns is going to increase from 10% to 15%. Isabel's direct damage is going to increase from 525% to 535%, and the enhanced defense ailment value is going to increase from 50% to 64%. Tamlin's direct damage is going to increase from 450% to 460%, so not a big difference there. Damage to all other enemies for Maud is going to increase from 260% to 280%. Verity's direct damage is increasing from 320% to 350%. Peregrine gets a small buff with his direct damage increasing from 440% to 450%. Yolanda's bleed damage is going to increase after the enhanced dodge ends or is removed or replaced from 483 to 765, so that's a pretty big jump. Bramble's mana gain is going to increase for all allies after 3 turns or immediately if the effect is removed before the duration ends. It was at 20% and it is now going to be at 25%. The Untold Tales 2 heroes, which is the Nidavellir and Murkheim realms, are getting buffs as well. First, in relation to the Molten Core, the corrosive burn damage is going going to increase, and the defensive reduction buff is going to go from minus 10% to minus 12% as part of the Molten Core. It's going to affect all heroes of the Nidavellir realm. And then the passive skill for the Arctic Core, which is for the Murkheim realm, the corrosive frost damage is going to increase, and the attack reduction buff is going to go from minus 10% to minus 15%. Some other specific heroes within the Untold Tales 2 families, which are going to get buffs to their special skills, is Dulafleur. Her Firestorm ward damage reduction is going to go from minus 1200 to minus 1300. Regent's Firestorm strike damage is going to increase from a max of 1900 to 2000. Hreidmar's Firestorm strike damage is going to increase from 2100 to 2200, and the duration of status effects is going to increase from 4 to 5 turns. So that's a pretty good buff for Hreidmar. They have some interesting status effect buffs with the mana stealing. Dagger's Firestorm strike damage is going to increase from 1400 to 1500, and the damage increase from the burn and poison buff is going to go from plus 45% to plus 50% extra damage. Ott's healing, or I'm sorry, rather, his Firestorm ward damage reduction is going to go from 1000 to minus 1100. Gander's Firestorm strike damage is going to increase from 2000 to 2200. The health recovered per damage dealt increase is going to go from 25% to 30%, and the counterattack damage is going to increase from 60 to 65%. So Gander got a very nice buff. Hogni's Frostfall strike damage is going to increase from 2200 to 2300, and the max health reduction buff is going to go from 700 to 800, and the healing decrease ailment buff is going to go from minus 60% to minus 70% healing. So Hogni got a nice buff as well. Same thing with Aslager. That Firestorm strike damage is going to increase from 3000 to 4000, which is crazy. He is a hit one hero, so that's only going to affect one enemy that gets hit, but that has a higher chance of just one-shotting a enemy with almost full health pretty much right away. The duration of dodge buff increased from 4 turns to 5 turns, and the duration of the Mark of Immolation increased from 3 turns to 5 turns. And Vari is going to get the Firestorm ward damage reduction increasing from minus 1200 to minus 1300. So that covers all of the Untold Tales 2 heroes. Next up, we have the Beowulf family. The passive skill, which has the stacking attack on damage received, is going to increase from 25% to 30% for that attack buff stack. The passive skill for empowered resist mana reductions, the health boost per resist increase from 450 to 600, and the mana gain per resist increase from 5% to 10%. So that is a very nice buff for those affected heroes of the Beowulf family. The status effect, which is called the status effect generator, or was called the status effect generator, is now being renamed to the source of ailments and the source of buffs for the ailment and buff giving variations of the effects respectively. The effects are no longer fully undispellable. Instead, attempted dispels shorten the duration of the effect by 1 turn. Affected heroes are Hrothgar, Welthau, Moth, and then Aesir and Unferth for the epic and rare heroes also. And then some other adjustments to the special skills for some specific heroes. Hrothgar's direct damage is going to increase from 310% to 340%. Welthau's health boost over time is going to increase from 1050 to 1320 health over 3 turns. Moth's counterattack damage is going to increase from 130% to 135%. Aesir's heal over time is going to increase from 480 to 600 over 4 turns. Unferth's max direct damage is going to increase from 275% to 300%. I feel like this is like the 7th buff that some of these heroes like Hrothgar and Welthau have gotten since they came out on Black Friday last year. Next up, we've got the Slime family. The status effect Slime Revive is going to be changing slightly. The time to revive in slime form is going to shorten from 3 turns to 2 turns. So that's definitely going to be pretty annoying to deal with. The slime slap direct damage is going to increase from 290% to 350%. This is going to affect Gunctus, Gurik, and Gurion. Charmion is getting a huge buff. The special skill now deals direct damage. She's going to deal 400% damage to the target and nearby enemies. Previously, she did not deal any damage, and now she's going to deal 400% damage to 3 subs so that's a pretty big buff. Nidus is getting an adjustment to his special. Holy enemies now receive reduced defense against dark. New all holy enemies get minus 34% defense against dark for 3 turns. Gunctus is going to have his direct damage increase from 520% to 535%, so pretty small adjustment there. Fungustine is going to get an increase to her healing. The direct health boost increase from 1000 to 1250, and the defense buff increase from plus 25% to plus 30%. So Fungustine got a nice little buff. Gouldron is going to get a buff as well. Direct damage is going to increase from 355% to 385%. The Slime Fiend is going to go away when they receive 40% healing instead of 35%, and the attack is going to increase from 38% to 50%. Slime Go's direct damage is going to increase from 260% to 270%. The water damage is going to increase from 483 to 627 damage over time over 3 turns. The mana generation ailment is going to increase from 30% to 35%. Muctus is getting a pretty nice buff also. The direct damage is increasing from 260% to 290%, and he's a attack all hitter, so that's going to affect 5 enemies. The Slime Fiend is going to inherit health increasing from 10% to 40%. That's a huge difference. And then the inherited attack for those fiends are going to increase from 28% to 50%. So Muctus got a pretty nice buff. Gurik is getting a buff as well. The duration of status effects increases from 4 turns to 5 turns. The mana generation buff is something that's getting added. This is new. All allies are going to get plus 44% mana generation for 5 turns. Gurian's special, his direct damage is going to increase from 450% to 480%, and the defense ailment buff is going to go from a minimum of minus 35% to minus 40% and a max of minus 60%. That covers the Slime family. Next up, we have the Magic Carpet family. The passive skill, the flight momentum is changing slightly. The mana generation buff increased from plus 30% to plus 35%, and the dodge buff increased from a max of plus 20% to a plus 25%. The replacement effects ailments buffed go from minus 35% to minus 40%, and the buffs increase from plus 35% to plus 40%. For some specific heroes in the Magic Carpet family, Naeem is direct damage increases from 300% to 330%. The counterattack increases from 135% to 145%, and the Sand Touch damage is going to increase from 356 to 452 damage over 4 turns. Alyssa gets a nice healing increase with her direct heal going from 42% to 50%. That covers the Magic Carpet family heroes getting buffs, and then the Defenders and Nightmares of Atlantis families, there's a couple heroes that are getting buffs. Ultrox is getting a stat increase, his attack, defense, and health going up slightly, and then same thing with Gellert. So these are the last 2 heroes for the Untold Tales that have not gotten costumes yet, so I'm assuming that this is anticipation of them both getting costumes. And then some heroes of the month are getting buffs as well. Alassie, her direct damage is going to increase from 492% to 542%. The costume is going to go from 466% to 496%. Yang Mei's direct damage is going to increase from 340% to 370%. Suzuna's heal over time is going to increase from 750 to 855 over 3 turns. And then Bow and Runt's direct damage is going to increase. The base damage is going to be 400% to 450%. And then the max damage, which is dependent on how many minions that are owned, I believe, is going to change from 600% to 650%. So that is all of the details of the May 2025 balance update. Let me know what you all think of it. For the most part, it really affects the newer families: Woodland Fawns, Astral Dwarves, the Magic Carpet family. The Slime family is a little older at this point, which is kind of crazy to say. We are still getting new Slime family members, obviously, but there's a lot of older ones in there like Fungustine that are still getting buffs, which is nice. Charmion definitely got the biggest buff out of anybody in this May 25 balance update. Let me know what you all think of these changes, but that is going to do it for today's video. I hope you did enjoy it or found it helpful, and if you did, hit that like button, make sure you're subbed to my channel, and I'll catch you guys next time.